Right, and we are back for round number 2, trial number 1, and we have a nurse with lethal. Yeah, that's a frightful thing to see. Who needs corrupt when you got lethal as the nurse who is in hot pursuit of this Nia? And from seeing all 4 survivor auras, it does not appear that they have brought a distortion. And looks like Nurse did get tripped up, though, by a lucky break, potentially an Iron Will combo, in fact, as Nia has all but disappeared from the Nurse. Potentially even sneaking down into basement there, but Nurse determined to find the Nia, looking around desperately. But looks like they will instead go towards this generator here and finding what looked to be a survivor, leaving a little bit early. 2 survivors, in fact, with scratch marks going in opposite directions. However, Nurse not going to pursue. Instead, going to be checking out these other generators to see what progress they might have. Keep in mind, both teams here pretty well versed in comms, so going to be interesting to see how well the Nurse does on Eerie of Crows. This is what I love. This is what I love about CoTF CC, and specifically our charity events like this, where we're going to be able to see Nurse on a map that we otherwise would never see Nurse on. We'd never have Eerie Crows. I feel like you, the viewers and players, would riot if we introduced that into either CoTF proper or CoTF CC. So it's really interesting to see these killers on some really interesting maps. And if you guys are wanting to randomize the map or the killer pool for round 3, now's the time to do it. That being said, we do see the first down here, ending a corrupt intervention as generators are starting to pop. And that is a $100 donation from Shelby, who will be randomizing the killer pool 4 times, and I think adding more maps and killers as well. So that's gonna be very exciting for round 3. We'll show you guys what that looks like during our intermission in just a little bit. That being said, Nurse still in hot pursuit here. Gonna be kicking this gen, and that is in fact a Pop Goes the Weasel. All 4 gens, or rather all 4 perks, are now fully known. That of which being Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, Pop Goes the Weasel, Lethal, and a Corrupt Intervention. Nurse, though, determined that a survivor is nearby, can be checking some lockers, but instead now going to blink further into the middle of the map in order to see where exactly these survivors might be. Sounds like a Gen and Mill there, still regressing though, so Survivor's in a little bit of a tough spot here as Scourge Hook has done a number, regressing most progressed Gen by 25%. Nurse did see another Survivor, but losing line of sight. Really interesting seeing Nurse struggling as much as they are with the amount of line of sight blockers on this map, and yeah, the Survivor snuck by. We saw scratch marks fading away in the distance. And looks like they will get that spicy coup de grace hit right there, as they do have access to those green add-ons. I want to say this is the extended range on Second Blink, in addition to Sloppy Butcher, or rather Mangled stat effect being applied on a Blink hit. That being said, looks like Dwight here now in chase, trying their best to evade. You know, honestly, I'm not entirely sure what just happened there. Either this Nurse has the reaction time of a god, or just dumb luck that they primed a Blink and fired it off as Dwight doubled back for the stun. Either ways, that is a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, regressing the most progressed gen by 25%, and another Pop Goes the Weasel in hand. As also 2 hooks. As a reminder for those of you just now joining us, the win conditions here are determined by the number of hooks on survivors and the number of gens completed. It first goes by number of hooks. If in an instance of a tie, it then goes to number of gens completed. And so far, these survivors doing a really good job jamming out these gens, as they are now 3 deep with 2 remaining, though Dwight currently on the hook hanging here. don't think there is a deliverance in hand, but it's not outside the realm possibility, as anything goes here in these charity tournaments, as well as DVD or CoTF CC. Gonna take me a while to get used to saying CoTF CC and not DVD CC. But another tag on the survivor here. 3 survivors currently injured. Nurse going to be going for the blink here, but a double back and fake. Really strong play there by Detective Tap, but looks like they are going to be continuing to move further towards the back of main, but line of sight being blocked. Nurse going for the long blink though, and looks like they will attempt a double back, but Nurse catching them out in the corner here, and methinks there's something wrong with that tree, as Nurse could not blink through it. Something for y'all to know in your Nurse matches, that is the anti-nurse tree. If you are in chase of a Nurse in this corner, go behind it and you'll be safe. With that being said, Tap could only stay upright for so long, as we do see the 4th gen being completed, as well as a 3rd hook here for the Nurse. Honestly, I'm not sure to be surprised or not surprised, because like I said, this is a brand new map that we are seeing here on the Nurse. We would never otherwise see Nurse on Eerie Crows. It's really interesting to see comp played in this style on this map. And the Nurse definitely striking a little bit here, keeping in mind that survivors also have access to every single perk in the game, with the exception, big exception here, of course, Nicolas Cage's perks, as those are just a little bit too close to our cutoff for new content. The good news is they will be available during CoTF CC on the 1st Saturday of September, so get excited for that. And I think that also will mean that we will have the new Alien chapter available during that time as well. That being said though, Nurse looking around. They did see a survivor, but not gonna blink for them. Instead, kind of just box out these survivors. Will get a solid hit here on Tap, and looks like they are gonna make their way over towards the shack, but Nurse, a little bit concerned about these gens, is going to be blinking back. And sure enough, it looks like they will find themselves here on this gen, but only with minor amounts of progression. I'm also getting a ping. Let me know that apparently Nurse blinks are bugged on Edge map. Maybe not in every single location, but enough for it to be a known bug. So you survivors who are not a fan of Nurses, use that to your advantage while you can, as I would hope that gets fixed shortly. Or maybe you think that that is a much needed nerf to the Nurse here, as Edge map is your friend, as 5th gen is going to get popped off here, and looks like the Nurse will secure a 4th down here, this time on the Nia. But based on that, I think that is going to be the total number of folks we're going to see here for the Nurse, as 20 seconds until the exit gates are able to be 99 or open, though these survivors potentially might come in for a unhook in an attempt to get a 4-man out. But EGC starting, it's starting to look more and more like that is not the case. And I believe we are going to see 3-man outs, and I believe that's going to be now 6 stages here for the Nurse. So honestly, not the worst in the world, but yeah, really interesting to learn about that Eerie of Crows Edge map Nurse blink bug. With that being said, that there will be the end of trial number 1. We are going to be flipping sides now with Eclipse killing against Cynic's survivor team, and they are going to need to get a 6 hook before 5 gens are completed in order to secure the win. All right, and we are back for round 2, trial 2 of Charities of the Fog, and we see another lethal as the Nurse is in hot pursuit. Looks to be the Ace, I believe. Ace potentially not realizing they're running towards Nurse, but the Nurse with a misfire there on the tile. Do want to point out that we do see a corrupt intervention as well. Other 2 perks, a little bit of a unknown. Add-ons pretty much the same. As far as win condition is concerned, I do believe it is 7 hooks at 5 gens. Yeah, 7 hooks at 5 gens or less. However, if the survivors are able to confirm just 6 hooks at 5 gens, then that does result in a tie. So going to be interesting to see here for Eclipse is Killer. It's definitely not a bad win condition, very doable, but we'll have to wait and see as the nurse will find the Nia and get a pretty quick down thereafter. Looks like nurse gonna be looking around and bring them to this hook here. And a gen being worked on about 2 cylinders in, and does not appear to be a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, but it does appear that there was a noise notification in the distance, very possibly a missed skill check. Not sure if it's a 7% or what, but that will be 10% off the gen if that was the case. And that is huge if that was this gen, as this gen is very well progressed, close to 99.9, I would imagine. And we are seeing, want to let you know that we are seeing Obi killing, not Wispy. Appreciate you guys' patience, as did forget to update that little note. But that being said, Nurse going to be blinking back, confirming the second stage here on the Nia. And looks like they are going to continue to camp the hook here. Keep in mind, survivors could come in for a 1-for-1 trade, but have not yet. The gen also regressing quite well, a 0.3% per second. And looks like we are going to see that second stage here, though. Quentin coming in, but being body blocked by the nurse. They need to go around a second survivor potentially. And looks like that will be second stage. Quentin going for the 1-for-1 thereafter, but that is going to be a third stage given to the nurse. That is huge, to say the least, as they only need to get 4 more hook stages, regardless of the number of gens completed by these survivors. We do see Nia going off in the distance, a deliverance from the Quentin Ultra, and looks like the nurse will be going for them, but a sprint burst will get them to Shack in the nick of time, and looks like nurse will blink into Shack, going for the swing, but getting stunned by the pallet. Really good timing there by the Quentin, to say the least. Mind you, there is a possibility of a off the record, which could potentially delay this chase even further. We'll have to wait and see, though. There's also just like the possibility of kinship. There's a possibility of so much here, and it looks like Quentin going to be focusing on using edge map. That nurse blink bug, wish we had known about that before. We'll keep that in the back of minds now. Not that it affects CoTF proper, because we don't have area crows, and it only looks to be in specific places, which is the strangest part of it. And looks like we will see Quentin keeping to the edge map here as 2 gens are completed. Like we said, though, all they need is 4 more hooks. And nurse here on edge map with the swing and the miss. Quentin just going to be keeping to the edge map, which is the strongest play against Nurse in general, but even more so now, as we can tell. And Nurse trying to cut them off here at this little tile. But they are going to be diving further out into the map. Deadlock slowing things down just a little bit. And Quentin trying to fake out the nurse there through the blink, but it not working out in their favor, as they will end up going down. This will secure the 4th hook here for the nurse. If they are able to find a fresh survivor, that would in fact result in a win here for Eclipse, as they only need to camp them to death. Speaking of, here's the ace, who I do believe is fresh. 2 survivors at the very least are off of gens. And this gen here is pretty well progressed, but Nurse now able to camp it out potentially, as well as regress it by 0.3% per second. A second gen, though, here in main, also progressing at about 99%. That is insane. The survivors doing a fantastic job working these generators. However, looks like the survivor on hook, Quentin, only have 30 seconds left until they do progress to death. Nurse going to go for the blink on the ace. Ace not going for the double back. This might have been an aggressive play by the nurse. 15 seconds left, and the Quentin will get off of the hook, as we do see third gen completed, and what looks to be a for the people, as we do see that broken status effect. Looks like, though, the Ace will continue on the edge map. As we said before, this is exactly where you want to be as a survivor right now, with the Nurse being a little bit bugged out. Nurse going to try and mind game here, will successfully get the hit. Ace is fresh, and we have seen the deliverance, so it does mean that if Ace does go down and gets camped out to death, that is going to be a win here for Eclipse, as we do see the 4th gen being completed. That is huge here for the Nurse, who I think is going to bring him down to basement. This is going to be exactly what the Nurse needs here in order to secure victory. We'll have to wait and see if it works out in their favor, as I imagine they're just going to hang out here on the hook. As far as Exegates are concerned, haven't really taken note of where they are as of right now, but doesn't look like any are near the shack, though. Might be one right behind the Nurse. It's hard to say, but Nurse setting up for the body block. There's the 5th generator. At this point in time, it is the 7 hooks or bust here for the Nurse. Now, if they are able to secure one more hook, that will result in a tie. So that is something important to note, as both the win and tie condition will be the same. However, we do see a no way out with 3 stacks activated. I do believe that is, what, 36 seconds, where the Exegates are going to be blocked by the entity. Looks like Ace, though, seconds away from being progressed to 2nd stage. And that will be the 6 hooks needed for the tie. Looks like Quentin trying to get by for the unhook, but I think it's going to be just a little bit too late. And this will be the 1-for-1 trade. There's the 7 hooks. Nurse just needs to hook the Quentin, and that will be the win condition here. That is an amazing job here by the Nurse, playing to their outs. I imagine Ace trying to make a mad dash away. Nurse with the misfired blink out of basement. And with her out, does not look like the Exegate here is progressed at all. However, I imagine Ace making the way to the Exegate far away. And I do believe... Hold on. There's no progression. No way out, locking these survivors in for a nightmare. Looks like we do see that flashbang there. Looks like the other Exegate behind where Shaq was will have been opened. Nancy making the way towards it, but Nurse unable to catch up. And looks like this will result in a 3-man out, but a victory for Eclipse nonetheless, as Nancy will take the hit out of the Exegate. Nia gonna back them up with the body block for what it's worth, and that there will in fact be the 3-man out. Really well played by both teams, and congratulations to Eclipse walking away victorious here in round number 2 of 4 of Charity of the Fog.